If you manage imagery, its large volume, its timely nature presents serious challenges to you. To open, I want to talk about image services. A GUI-1 image. It's an image on an image service. Image services provide you opportunities. Let's talk about that. This is one image of very many images on the service, so let's explore. We're going to go northwest, 300 miles, Niagara Falls. You can roam on these services. Here we have a clear view of the border crossing at the Rainbow Bridge. Now, image services store the imagery in raw form on disk. When you go to present the image, that raw form is taken, processed, and delivered at refresh. Let's go 400 miles, actually, east. An image of a historical lighthouse on Montauk Point. This is a high-resolution aerial image. It's part of a data collection that's maintained by New York State. Let's go 250 miles northwest. A forest in color. User can change this to color infrared. Why? Because the user has choices on image services. And it delivers the raw pixels, the original pixels, to the applications. So, for instance, I'm able to calculate the vegetation health, or the vegetation index, and check the health of the forest stand. That's done a screenful at a time, on demand, on the fly. Okay, you're probably wondering, now, why have we been jumping all over the state? Well, let's back out and give you a sense. This is a contiguous collection of the entire state of New York. It's a mosaic, a collection of many image sets, all together, comprising hundreds of thousands of individual images. We can look at the footprints, and they kind of get the point across, right? But the user accesses this as a single data set. Okay, let's go out to Western New York. And then let's go to the Buffalo Airport, because I want to illustrate that these services have temporal depth to them as well. Now, we can go back to 1994. And in 1994, we highlight the original runways in yellow. We can spin forward 10 years. We can see the runway under construction at this point in time. And, again, we can move forward and see the current runway configuration with the original 94 runway highlighted in yellow. This presents a view of the world through time, because you can have many times enabled in your image services. They're sensitive to time, they're sensitive to the quality of the image, the origin of the image. You can have different data from different sources, from different sensors, all together viewed as one data set. Okay. So we've looked at this presentation from the standpoint of image management. Image services provide opportunities, and I hope this gives you a little sense of what's possible with this technology for image management and dissemination. But now I want Mark to give you a sense of how metadata is used in a smart way at 10.1 to make exploitation easier. Mark?
All right, thanks, Gerry. At 10.1, we've improved the way ArcMap displays imagery. We now directly read sensor metadata, which automatically generates products which we can drag and drop into our map with no pre-processing required. All the stretching and the display characteristics are done on the fly. Now, because this image that I've dropped in here was generated from the metadata, ArcMap knows that this is a WorldView 2 image, and it now recognizes the names of the bands as opposed to the band numbers, which normally aren't as descriptive. So I can read the band combination that I want displayed in my map. Many of the sensors come with both multispectral and a higher resolution panchromatic image. The system will also generate products like this pan-sharpen image, which has the high resolution of that panchromatic image with all the bands. Okay, I've got another scene here that was taken from a different perspective. Because ArcMap recognizes the sensor information like the sun angle and acquisition date, I can reorient the image as it was seen by the sensor. So I'd like to share one more brand new capability that we have coming at 10.1. We now have full support for mensuration. So if I wanted to take accurate measurements directly from the imagery, I can now do that. So I've got an image here, and I want to know how tall this building is. Using the mensuration tools, I can measure from the top of the building to the bottom of the shadow to get about 133 meters for this building. We have this same capability on the web. So instead of a local image, we can take measurements on image services that have been published and disseminated and consumed in some of these highly focused web applications that you're seeing here. I've got access to the same tools for mensuration, so this time I'm going to measure from the ground to the top of the building. Gerry, back to you.
Thanks, Mark. So this thin client application illustrates that when you combine the image services with the APIs, it allows you to field applications that are rich in functionality for your user community. At the same time, the smart use of the metadata at 10.1 enables a much easier pattern for you to manage, exploit, and disseminate your imagery.